Says a man's a danger to me.
You will?
We take her in. I could have lied, you know.
No, you couldn't.
One moment, everything is about to fall apart. The trailer for In the Forest doesn't just tease another episode. It quietly hints at betrayal, war, and a decision that could change everything for Jaime, Claire, and William. And if you missed even a small detail in this trailer, you might miss what's really coming next. Episode 8 is not setting up just another battle. It's setting up a moment where emotions and war collide in a dangerous way. From the very beginning of the trailer, there is a clear shift in tone. This is no longer just about survival or politics. This is about consequences catching up with every character at the same time. Jaime's presence in the trailer feels heavier than before. There is a quiet seriousness in his actions that suggests he already knows what he is walking into. The Battle of King's Mountain is not just another historical event for him. It feels personal, almost like fate is pulling him toward something unavoidable. The way the trailer builds around him makes it clear that this is not a fight he can simply walk away from. There is a sense that Jaime is preparing not just for war, but for a possible ending. At the same time, Claire's role feels more tense and uncertain. She has always been the one trying to hold everything together, but now even she seems to be stepping into unknown territory. The phrase unexpected visitor may sound small, but in a show like Outlander, unexpected arrivals often bring massive consequences. This visitor could carry information, danger, or even a decision that forces Claire and Jaime into a path they cannot escape. What makes this episode different is how the danger is building from multiple sides. It's not just the battlefield anymore. The forest itself feels like a symbol, uncertain, unpredictable, and hiding threats that are not immediately visible. The trailer carefully avoids giving clear answers, but it leaves enough hints to suggest that something is moving behind the scenes, something bigger than what the characters can see. Another important detail is how the trailer balances silence and tension. Instead of loud action, it leans into moments that feel almost too quiet. And in a story like this, silence usually means something is about to go wrong. It creates a feeling that the characters are walking into a situation where they don't fully understand the risks yet. There is also a strong sense that timing will play a critical role. Everything feels like it is happening at once. Jaime preparing for war, Claire facing uncertainty, and other unseen forces moving in the background. This kind of structure usually leads to a turning point where multiple storylines collide in a single, powerful moment. What truly stands out in this trailer is that it doesn't rely on obvious danger. Instead, it builds a deeper kind of tension, the kind that comes from knowing that something is wrong, but not knowing exactly what it is. This makes the episode feel more intense because the thread is not clear, and that unpredictability keeps the audience constantly guessing. And if there's one thing Outlander has proven again and again, it's that when everything feels uncertain, the outcome is rarely simple. Episode 8 is setting the stage for something much bigger than it appears on the surface. And the closer we get to the battle, the more it feels like not everyone will walk away from it the same. While the war slowly builds around Jaime and Claire, the trailer makes it very clear that the emotional center of this episode may actually be William. And what we are seeing is not just frustration, it is the beginning of a complete breakdown in trust. William is no longer the calm and controlled character we once saw. Every scene hinted at in the trailer shows a man who feels cornered by the truth. Learning about Jaime has already shaken his identity, but now the situation is getting worse. The distance growing between him and Lord John Grey is not just emotional. It feels final, like a line is being drawn that may not be crossed again. The tension between them carries a deeper meaning. Lord John Grey has always been a protective figure in William's life, someone who stood by him no matter what. But now, from William's perspective, even that relationship feels complicated. The trailer suggests that William is starting to question everything: who he is, who he can trust, and where he truly belongs. And when a character reaches that point, their decisions often become unpredictable. One of the most intense hints in the trailer is the presence of a gun being pointed. The show wants the audience to believe one thing, but if we look closely, it may not be that simple. The situation feels layered, almost like a setup meant to mislead. It is very possible that this moment is connected to the growing conflict around William, rather than just a direct confrontation. If William is being hunted again, possibly by men connected to Ben, then this changes everything. It means he is no longer just dealing with emotional conflict. He is in real danger. And if Lord John Grey steps in to protect him, it could lead to a major turning point where the roles are reversed. Instead of guiding William, he may end up becoming the one who needs to be saved. This is where the story becomes even more powerful. Because if William realizes that his anger pushed away the one person who truly cared for him, regret will start to take over. And regret in a moment of crisis can drive a character to make bold, risky choices. There is also the emotional weight of isolation. The trailer shows William in a state where he seems completely alone, not just physically, but mentally. And this kind of isolation often leads to transformation. He may either become stronger and more decisive, or he may make a mistake that puts everyone around him in danger. What makes this storyline so compelling is that it is not just about action. It is about identity. William is standing at a crossroads where he must decide who he really is. Is he going to follow the path he believed in, or will he be pulled toward the truth he has been trying to avoid? At the same time, the possibility of a rescue storyline adds another layer of tension. If Lord John Grey is captured or put in danger, then William may be forced to work with Jaime Fraser, the very person he is struggling to accept. And that kind of forced alliance could create some of the most intense and emotional moments of the entire season. Everything about William's arc in this trailer points toward a breaking point. And once that breaking point is reached, there is no going back to how things were before. The choices he makes in this episode could define his character for the rest of the story, and possibly decide who survives what is coming next. As the trailer reaches its final moments, one idea becomes impossible to ignore. This episode is not just about separate storylines anymore. Everything is moving toward one point of collision, and the forest is where it all comes together. The title In the Forest is not random. In a story like Outlander, locations often carry meaning beyond what we see. The forest represents uncertainty, hidden danger, and decisions made without a clear path. It's a place where characters are forced to rely on instinct rather than certainty. And in this episode, that uncertainty feels more dangerous than any battlefield. At the center of it all is Jaime Fraser. Everything in the trailer points toward him stepping closer to a moment that feels almost unavoidable. The Battle of King's Mountain is approaching, and history already casts a shadow over it. The tension here is not just about whether he will fight, but whether this fight is where his story takes a tragic turn. There's a quiet weight in how the trailer presents him, as if every step forward is bringing him closer to something he cannot escape. But what makes this even more intense is the possibility that the battle itself may not be the biggest threat. The forest suggests that danger could come from anywhere: ambushes, unexpected enemies, or even decisions made in the heat of the moment. It creates a feeling that while everyone is focused on the war, something else is waiting in the shadows. At the same time, Claire Fraser is standing in a position where she may once again be forced to face the unknown. The idea of an unexpected visitor becomes more important here. In a moment where everything is already unstable, even a single new arrival can shift the direction of the story completely. This person could bring a warning, a secret, or even a choice that changes the outcome of what's coming. Then there is the emotional thread connecting everything: William. His possible journey toward regret, his fractured relationships, and his uncertain decisions are all moving toward the same space as Jaime's battle. If these storylines intersect, it could create a moment where personal conflict and war collide in the most intense way possible. Imagine the weight of that situation. William Ransom being forced to face Jaime Fraser not just as an enemy in his mind, but as someone he may need to rely on. That kind of moment doesn't just create tension, it changes characters permanently. There is also a strong sense that timing will decide everything. If help arrives too late, if decisions are made too quickly, or if trust is broken at the wrong moment, the consequences could be irreversible. The trailer carefully builds this idea without revealing the outcome, which makes it even more powerful. It leaves us with the feeling that something major is about to happen, but we don't know who it will affect the most. What truly defines this episode is the idea of fate versus choice. Are these characters walking into events that are already decided, or do they still have the power to change what's coming? The forest becomes the perfect setting for this question because it offers no clear direction, only paths that must be chosen. By the end of the trailer, one thing is clear. This is not just another step toward the finale. This is a turning point. The kind of episode where relationships are tested, truths are confronted, and the story takes a direction that cannot be undone. And when the dust settles after everything that is about to unfold, the real question won't just be who survives, but who they become after facing it. By the time this episode reaches its final moments, the real impact won't just come from what happens, but from what it leaves behind. because In the Forest feels like the kind of episode where even the survivors don't walk away the same. Everything we've seen building so far, Jaime's sense of duty, Claire's quiet fear, and William's emotional struggle, is heading toward consequences that cannot be reversed. And the most powerful part is this: not all consequences will be immediate. Some will begin here and echo into the final episodes of the season. For Jaime Fraser, this could be the moment where destiny and choice finally collide. If he walks into this battle knowing the risks, then every action he takes carries more weight than ever before. It raises a serious question. Can he change what's supposed to happen, or is he simply walking the path that has already been written? For Claire Fraser, the emotional pressure is just as intense. She has always fought to protect the people she loves, but this time, the situation feels bigger than anything she can control. If something goes wrong, she may be forced to face a loss that cannot be undone. And the trailer quietly suggests that she knows this. Then comes William, the most unpredictable piece of this entire story. His anger, his regret, and his confusion are all building toward a decision that could either redeem him or push him even further away from the truth. If he is given a moment to choose between pride and loyalty, that decision could define his entire future. And this is where the real tension of Outlander comes alive. It's not just about war or survival. It's about who these characters become when they are pushed to their limits. There is also the strong possibility that this episode sets up the final emotional direction of the season. Relationships may break, trust may be lost, and alliances may shift in ways we didn't expect. The Forest is not just a setting, it is a turning point, a place where everything changes quietly before the storm fully arrives. By the end, the biggest twist may not be a shocking death or a dramatic reveal. It may be something deeper, the realization that things can never go back to how they were. And that's what makes this episode so important. Because once these choices are made, once these moments pass, there is no reset. No second chance. Only consequences. So now the real question is, when everything finally comes together in the forest, who will make it out, and who will be lost in what comes next?